And welcome back to News Talk. I'm Chris Pabst, in for Bruce. Now, all winter long, we can't wait for the heat so we can get outside and do things. And then all summer, we complain about how hot it is. But you can work out outside when it is hot and humid like it always is here in D.C. Experts say you just need to be smart about it. Josef Brandenburg is a best-selling author and the founder of True 180 Fitness Solutions. He joins us now to offer some advice on working out. A lot of people do try to avoid working out when it's really hot because you hear about the stories of people overheating and there being health issues there. So, I mean, what do you recommend here? When it starts getting hot, lately 95, 100, 105, right, you can still go outside and do some things, right?
Yeah, you can definitely still go outside and do some things. I mean, a lot of this is like for the hardcore persons, like I want to run, I want to, I've got a bike race coming up in the fall and I really want to keep training for it. Say for most like kind of normal people with kind of a bit more reasonable fitness goals, I would say, I mean, probably the simplest thing is just go inside, right? That's the easiest thing. There's air conditioning, you're in the shade, you're not going to get beaten down by the sun. But for the people who like absolutely positively, must exercise outside, then, there's...
But when you're outside, you do sweat more, too.
You sweat more.
No, which is nice, because I went for a run this morning, and, it took me like 2 hours to... for my body temperature to come back down sweating for a long time. But that's part of the reason that you want to do it, is that you want to get the toxins out, you want to get the sweat out, you want to try to lose a little bit of weight, so it can be good from that perspective.
Yeah, definitely from that perspective. So like what you did, like running early in the morning, so either usually before 7 a.m. or after 6 p.m., those are going to be the times of the day when you're going to, you're not going to be in that direct sunlight, and it's not going to be as hot.
Okay, so if you're going to go out there and you're going to exercise in these heat waves that we're having right now, what do you recommend? How do you keep yourself safe?
So there's a number of things. Number one is just be aware of what the signs are. What does heat exhaustion or heat stroke, or what do they feel like? Dizziness, nausea, confusion, like sort of extreme fatigue. If your heart rate sort of starts kind of jumping around, those are all really good signs that you should stop and you should go back inside, cool off, and rehydrate. So just knowing, hey, when is this like my body saying this is the end of this this exercise in the heat?
And then clearly drinking a lot of water. Now, what do you recommend in terms of water, Gatorade, Powerade, things to those nature? I mean, do you like those types of energy drinks and products?
Water for sure. So the Gatorade, the Powerade, those things really depends on the person. I would say for most people, no. I mean, unless you're going to be exercising for like longer than 90 or 120 minutes. Basically, for most people, like, their weight is probably one of the biggest things. So kind of putting in that, all the extra calories in that liquid is not really going to pay off for you. Okay. The calorie-free ones, though, I mean, I guess those would be a much better alternative to sort of like standard Gatorade, which is pretty much about, it's about as much sugar as soda. And
all this would be applicable to people that work outside, too. If you're a construction worker, you're working in, outside doing laborious work, I mean, it's the same type of concept, right? Yeah, same type of concept. And then one of the other things is, like what you wear is really important. Make sure that you're wearing sort of lightweight, reflective clothing. In general, usually I like to work out in dark clothing, but, in the summertime, if I'm going to go run a hill, I'm going to make sure that I, force myself to get the shirt that I don't like because it's not going to make me quite as hot. Something that breathes a little bit more, so look into that if you're really getting into this type of stuff. But this is the type of year that you recommend that people do think about starting to get in shape, because a lot of us just got off a vacation. We probably didn't eat too well. We possibly may have drank a little bit too much, depending on your proclivities. So now is a good time to get back into it as you go into the fall. Yeah, now is an excellent time. Right, you just got back from vacation. If you have kids, your kids are usually kind of getting ready for school. Maybe they might be in school in a couple of weeks. Work is usually a little bit slower. And then when the fall comes, usually people are sort of putting off restarting their exercise until the fall comes around because they think that's going to be easier. But I'm going to start next month. Exactly. I'm going to start after the summer. Sure. Right. So it's just a great opportunity to get out of the habit of procrastinating, because that's sort of, if this is last month's next month, right? You said, I'm just going to do it next month. Well, it is next month already. So it's a great opportunity to get out of that mindset. And it's also usually a slower period at work, so it's a great opportunity to carve out that time and just take a look at your schedule, because your schedule usually changes, right? You can carve out, okay, when are the 3 hours this week that I can get my exercise done? One of the things I do is when I am working out outside, no matter when it's 30 degrees or it's 100 degrees, I always try to run the same distance. Am I getting a better workout when it's 100 degrees because I'm sweating more and my body is doing more to try to cool myself down. Because my thought is that if I run 3 miles, which is pretty much my limit, I go that 3 miles no matter what, and I get the same workout. Is that logical, or is it not? Do you get a better workout when it's hot?
So, I mean, it's counterintuitive, but no, you don't get a better workout when it's hot. Basically, like 3 miles is 3 miles, you know, however much you weigh, that's how much work your body did. It will do a slightly more or less work, maybe to keep you cool or to, you know, keep you warm enough. But I would say, like, when it's cold outside, I mean, those would be the opportunities to run farther and faster, maybe in that same period of time, because
you feel better. Because you're not sweating as much,
exactly.
Your body's keeping itself warm. Exactly. That whole concept.
Yeah, 3 miles in the heat feels a lot harder, but at the end of the day, you don't really burn maybe a couple of extra calories, but it's really, really insignificant.
Oh, you feel like you do.
You feel like you got your butt kicked because you know, there's so much, you lose so much fluid, you lose so many electrolytes. It's just very, very draining on your system. But it's not like draining in the sense that, you know, I worked out twice as much. Okay,
so we just got 1 minute left. Any parting thoughts for people who are thinking about going out and maybe being a little bit afraid to go out when it's 100 degrees and work out?
You know, stay in the shade as best you can. Be careful about medications. You know, when you get a summer cold, those antihistamines or decongestants that you take, those make a big difference in how dehydrated you get and also how hot you're going to get when you're going outside. So just be aware that that can happen. Another thing is, you know, alcohol. Just because you don't have a hangover this morning doesn't mean that alcohol is gone. So it's going to stay with you and affect your hydration status for maybe 24, 48 hours. So just be aware and try to, if you know if you're going to run in the morning, maybe wait to drink till tomorrow night.
And coffee. Caffeine. That does dehydrate you too, right?
Caffeine as well, right? If you're going to have coffee in the morning before you run, make sure you have some water at the same time, usually at least 20 ounces.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it. Good tips, and you can still go out and work outside. I was really hoping that since it's so hot out, when I go out, I get a much better workout. That's kind of a little disappointing. I thought that I did. But thank you so much for coming in. News Talk. We'll be right back.